Game Day. We are back with episode number 10. We're into double digits, which we're pretty stoked about. And we've got Callum Wilkie joining us today. He has been in phenomenal form, and so have the Saints. Didn't get the result against Carlton, but that's okay because now that he's come on the Hello Game Day podcast, they generally tend to win after that.
It was against Fremantle as well, so you've had an absolute mare to start off the show.
What happened?
You said that against Carlton.
Did I?
Yeah.
Okay, well...
And also, you didn't do your different language Hello Game Day.
I was going to, but then I was in between Chinese and French. No, Chinese and Spanish, sorry. But I wasn't sure. Konnichiwa Japanese or Chinese?
I don't know. I think Konnichiwa might be Japanese.
Yeah, I was going to... yeah, so I didn't want
to...
I didn't want to back myself in and say a different language. But were you looking forward? Because I got the notion that you really weren't impressed by the different language.
I was enjoying it every week.
You were enjoying it.
Yeah, I'd like to pick it apart if you got something wrong. So
you gave me very little feedback about it. So I was thinking I'd go back to the Hello Game Day.
No, that's all right.
Well, okay, from this week onwards, every week I'm going to do a new language because I was enjoying it. I just didn't know how you felt about it.
I didn't mind it. So
all right,
bring it back.
Beautiful. Well, we're going to get straight into the clips here. And what we're going to cover is Riley O'Brien. You have had a mare, my son. You have had a mare. He has supposedly broken his phone, and his phone has tweeted out his notes before the game. I'm sure you've all heard this. This is the notes. They read as such. West Coast, beat Nick Nat. Run off him hard. He is lazy and unfit. We'll have a field day getting the ball and marking everything. Get to front and have grunt around ground and get after ball on deck. Beat him in this area. CB.
Centre ball.
Centre bounce. Okay, I didn't really know what they meant. I thought it meant centre back.
No.
Playing too much FIFA. Have clear plan and execute, then thank. Thank him for the phone.
Yeah.
So he's had a mare, and mate, the beautiful thing about the Hello Game Day podcast is we get exclusive footage every week.
Absolutely.
Footage that is unseen anywhere else. And this week we've got CCTV footage from the Adelaide Crows hub of Riley actually finding out that his phone had accidentally tweeted. So this is what
the exclusive.
This is the exclusive footage. There's Riley.
He's realised.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
So the big boy has.
Thank you to everyone down at Adelaide for giving us that footage.
He has had an absolute man. Now, Type Media put out what I thought was real at the start, but a false post of what Nick Nat replied as a bit of a Twitter feud. So, Moosey.
Mate, I was absolutely stoked when I saw this. I thought it was real too. And Type Media, for those of you who don't follow them, get on and follow them because they produce some bloody elite content. So this is the fake tweet that they put out. It was Nick Nats at Adelaide crying laughing face. Last on ladder. Did a lame power stance in 17 grand final. Playing against a guy who was Sam Jacobs' backup for 10 years. Seems like a good step ladder. Mark of the year this week. Taylor Walker plays for them. Lol Adelaide.
I thought it was real, and a few of us thought it was dead set, like a real online feud, and I was cacking myself. So that is great by those boys.
Well done at Type Media. Now, mate, we'll get straight into the predictions. First of all, mate, just give us a little sort of rundown on how your tips went this week, big dog.
Well, I did absolutely shockingly this week. I did 2 out of 9, and to be fair, it would have been the mare of the week if it wasn't for the big razzle dazzle. So I've done shockingly, but I've got some pump ups that I want to give out this week.
Right.
So
Poncho's pump ups, of course. Sorry,
you've
mate.
cut me off there again. No.
So you get a bit frazzled. Sorry,
the pair of Isaacs this week. Now we've got the first one I'll talk is Isaac Quainer, and Collingwood had a great win over. I've gone blank on who they've won over.
Carry on.
Yeah, well, they've had a massive win. That's an absolute clanger on my behalf.
Hawthorn,
that's right. But Isaac Quainer, from the back line, his ball and usage, he had 15 disposals. He got 93% disposal efficiency. And whenever he got it from the back line, he just drove it through the middle of the ground. He was so effective. He was like an 80-metre player. He'd get it, he'd run about 20 or 30, and he'd drive it another 50, and it was so effective, and it was really impressive. He was a name I didn't really know about before this weekend, and I was super impressed.
Well, I actually know a little bit about him. He has a bit of Andrew McLeod about him, I reckon. Just the way he moves, the way he disposes of it. He's actually a really good kick as well. He's a very powerful mover. And I was talking to some of the Collingwood boys last year, and they were saying that he is really at the level and he's ready to go. So honestly, I reckon I'd be surprised if I ever saw him play another twos game.
Yeah.
I don't think he's getting dropped again because he is at the level and he's ready to go.
It was super impressive. His rebounding was, just second to none. And that he caught my eye this week in terms of
round draft pick, so he's definitely a talented
and
kid.
the second, Isaac, and I've been waiting to see this bloke play for the Suns for a year and a bit now. He missed his first year through a lot of small injuries. I think calf and hammies were getting to him. But Isaac Rankin, he's come in, played his first game after Matty Rowell has gone out with an injury, so there's a spot available, and he's kicked 3 goals, 3. And they weren't just easy handball over the top set shots. They were freakish snaps. When he was around the ball, he was electric. So those are the 2 boys this week that have just been absolutely awesome, and they're definitely high in my books now after round 6 of football.
Yeah, well, I can't wait to keep watching them play, man. It's so good to see some elite talents coming through, and it just gives you so much more enjoyment out of watching those teams play as well. When you see these young guys who every time they get the ball, you're just like, what are they going to do? So
Absolutely.
Predictions?
Now,
Tell us about the weekend for
I'm
you, mate.
Stinking it up. And it hurts too, because I watch every game and there's a bit of feeling involved.
Yeah, of course.
So I watch a game and we post our results up, and it hurts because I've got 2 out of 9. And last week I watched 8 out of 9 games. I really wanted to analyse, and I've come out and had an absolute mare. So I decided this week to kind of pick a couple more smokies, and I did my tipping, and then I just changed it around in the hope that I tipped shit, and now I've reversed it. So it's not looking good. And my certainty. I got my first certainty wrong, and Sainers, you should have done better. You're up by near 40 points. You let the game slip, you got comfortable, and then they almost came back and won it at the end as well, and you definitely let me know about that.
I rang you up, and I had the Fremantle song playing, and you know what, Ponch? You've lost your certainty, all right? And I'm glad that you know how it feels, because this is how I've been feeling for the last 4 weeks. But there's a difference between you and me. The difference between you and me is that I act on certainties being lost. You dilly-dally, maybe Moose should do this as a punishment, maybe you should do that as a punishment. But when I see the opportunity to punish you, I act. And that's why I'm going to blindside you right now.
Oh, my fucking God.
You are getting a haircut. You are getting a haircut, and there's nothing you can do about it.
What do you mean?
Because...
What?
Listen, okay? This is your punishment this week, and not only are you getting a haircut, you're going nude. You're going absolutely nude, and I'm going to shave you. You're going to be Johnny Howard. I haven't decided what haircut I'm going to give you, but you're going absolutely, completely nude on the nut. And the thing I love about this is that you've got a new girlfriend, Katie, the beautiful Katie, and you're really punching above your weight. So I'm going to bring you back down a few pegs here. You've gotten a nice haircut. You've got rid of the carrot top that you were rocking for a few weeks. You've gotten a few new pieces of clothes, a pair of chinos, which have been making your legs look nice and long. She's given you a bit of a makeup. You're feeling yourself at the moment. And the thing that I love most about this is that now I get to make you look hideous with a haircut. So I'm just going to give you
We're not going to have enough time.
just a little quick, just a little quick one.
Fuck.
Just kick things off, and we'll do the rest in the video.
This is so stupid.
You're gonna have to wear it for at least a week.
Just that one thing.
No, I'm gonna do the whole haircut. We'll make a separate video. So go to
After
Instagram.
this, I'm not. I don't know what's just happened.
It's happening to. I'm just giving you a little one just to show that we're not playing around. But after this, we're going to make a proper video of me giving Poncho a haircut. And I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be something very creative, and you're going to look like a rabid dog. So
I can't believe you. I'm rattled.
all right. So I've gotten 5 tips this week, and I'm ahead in the leaderboard now. So moving on to this week.
Let's get into the. We can ponder on this as much as I want, and after this, there's going to be some strong words.
Bit of feedback. All right, so Geelong versus Collingwood. Who have you got?
I've gone for Geelong by 15 points. I think Collingwood are the stronger team, My Thursday and Friday night games, I haven't picked correctly, so I need a win on this one. Geelong had 2 early injuries in the game, and they still got the job done. So I'm going for Geelong. It could go either way for me, but I just need this win. So, boys,
You
Geelong,
do.
come on.
You need it. You
I need
really do.
a few wins.
I've gone for Collingwood by 5 points. I reckon it'll be an absolute thriller and great game, but I reckon Collingwood will edge them out by 5.
Yep.
Essendon versus Bulldogs.
I have picked Essendon over the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs have been my rogue team this whole time. I didn't pick them for 2 weeks. They win. I pick them this week. They lose to Carlton by 50-something points. I don't know. They're a team that they could be the best team in the comp if they want, and then they can turn around and be the worst team. But for me, I'm picking Essendon by 10 points. They've been so consistent. If they would have played against Melbourne, then assumably would have won.
Right.
They'd be second on the ladder right now. So that's nothing to shirk. So Essendon by 10.
Yep. And there's just so many unpredictable things. Like even the Collingwood game that we were just talking about with Geelong before. I don't know if you watched that game, but they put Stevenson on the wing. And the commentators were going wild about Stevenson being on the wing. But what no one ever noticed was that Will Hoskin-Elliott went forward. And he is such a good forward player because he is great overhead. He can play tall, he can play small, and he has been playing on the wing.
I'm still hurting about the haircut. Sorry, keep going.
Jesus, man.
I've just envisioned myself looking like Peter Garrett or Michael Klimt. I'm hurting.
You're going full nude.
I know. I just realised I'm going to be going full nudge.
Anyways, so they put Stevenson on the wing and Will Hoskin-Elliott forward. I just think that's a great move. I'm going the Doggies against Essendon because I haven't tipped them yet, so they're probably going to lose. But
Yeah, well, at least one of us will get it right this week.
Giants versus Brisbane, another tough one.
GWS by a point over Lions is what I'm saying. They're both
point?
Yeah, they're both coming off a loss, and the point is the respect that I could not pick a winner. And I feel like Lions, for me, should get this win, but GWS have a home ground advantage, and that's something that should not be shirked because they've got fans in the stands. They do pretty well at their home ground, so I'm backing them in by a point.
I've backed GWS as well by 14 points. I think that, as you said, they're quite good at home. They're quite formidable at home. And, I reckon they'll get up. So, Sydney versus Gold Coast. Massive game.
Yeah, huge. And for me, once again, massive Sun supporter. I love the boys. This is a really big game for them. I think Sydney, once again, they have no forward line in terms of just their structure. Forward of the ball, nothing's happening. And again, that happened this week. It was a very low-scoring game. The only person they've got is Papley. And I think strategically, if you get a veteran of Harbrow who's just played his 250th, lock down on Papley and don't let him be damaging at all. To me, they cannot win a game if Papley is snuffed out. So Suns...
So you reckon Harbrow takes Papley?
That's what I'd like to see because you just need someone who's just going to lock down. He's still fast. You know, he's hard at it, and I think he'd be a really good matchup for Papley, and it'll leave the younger players, less experienced players, to kind of go around the field elsewhere. But for me, I really want to see the Suns win this because if they don't, it starts to be a season that they've had in recent years. And
right.
Also, I have my Golden Rogie this week, and because I'm backing the Suns in heaps, my best mate, Took Miller, I'm going for 25 disposals or more to get a goal and the Suns to win. So I'm really backing him in, and I'm backing the boys in this week.
Do you hear that, Tukey boy?
Don't too much, but I'm backing in this week, Tukey boy.
All right. Well, I'm also going for the Gold Coast. I think this is absolutely a line in the sand game for them. They need to win this game. And I think that Sydney will be really smelling blood in the water here too. And they'll be thinking that Gold Coast are on a downwards trajectory. Gold Coast, go and prove everybody wrong and show them that you're not a 3-game team.
Admittedly as well, they have been playing well. At the Melbourne game, it was still a pretty interesting game. And Sydney is actually... Gold Coast is Sydney's bogey team because they knocked them off a couple of years ago in a pretty famous victory for the club. So they have it in them, and they need to get this one done.
Yep. Okay, Richmond versus North Melbourne.
So I've gone for the Tigers by 9 points. That they did have a few players missing, but they did get the job done. So North are always sort of in the game, but they're sitting 16th on the ladder. And Richmond, for a team who hasn't had a lot of hype this year, they're sitting 6th. So that kind of goes under the radar a little bit. You would have thought they're not even the top 8 the way they've kind of started the season off, but they get the wins done. And like I said, they're still my premiership favourite team until finals come closer. And if they can't make finals, that's when I'll change my tip. But Tigers will be there.
Well, I think that Tigers will edge him out as well, and this is my dead set certainty this week. And the reason why I do that is because I've lost a dead set certainty to Richmond a few weeks ago, but this week I just see them getting the. I've only tipped them by 10 points, but I just see them getting the job done against North. I don't know why. I've just got a big faith in Richmond this week.
Yeah,
It's risky.
it is. That's a risky certainty, and especially after you've shaved my bloody scone, I'll be coming back with some serious heat.
Well, you've got 2 in the bank for me, so I'm expecting it. Anyways, next game, Carlton versus Port Adelaide.
I've gone Port by 5 points. They're obviously the clear favourites, but Carlton have time and time again shown that they can get a win and out of nowhere. So I didn't get to see the game against the Bulldogs. I saw the result, and it's a damning result. I think the third team to get over 100 points this season. So for me, you can't say that Carlton will not be in this game, but I think Port have got the form at the moment. But honestly, Carlton could knock them off.
Well, that was going to be my dead set certainty, but I've gone for Port Adelaide for 31 points. That was going to be my dead set certainty, but you just can't. Carlton could just pull it out of the bag at any point, and they look pretty bloody good.
There's a few teams this year that I think that on their day they could turn up and win a game, and you wouldn't expect it, and then they could also come out and be absolute shambles. So
that's why this whole dead set certainty game is risky business, except for the Crows. They're not really doing much.
Yeah.
Hawthorn versus Melbourne.
I've gone the Hawks by 17 points. Once again, 2 teams that are coming off a loss. But Melbourne, for me, still, you beat the Suns. I still am not convinced. You're sitting 15th. Hawthorn have shown some good form. So for me, they can easily get this job done. But once again, it's been so all over the joint, hence my 2 out of 9. So Hawks by 17, but they've shown more form for me.
Well, I think Melbourne definitely will have a head of steam after beating the Gold Coast. It was a close game. It was a hard-fought game. And to get over the line, I think there's a real psychological advantage that a team gets from, with those neck-and-neck games, being able to pull away and win those. And I think that with Hawthorn at the moment, not in great form, I reckon the D's will get the win by 6 points.
I'm a massive advocate of teams and they finishing off the game is the way that they will start the next game off the week after. So if you come home really strongly, I always feel that you've come in with some form to the next game. That's the kind of mindset that I always think. So that's
a great segue into our next game, Fremantle versus West Coast, because Fremantle came home like a steam train last week to deny you of your dead set certainty.
Well, yeah, they did it in the second, I think the second quarter and the third, and Saints did come back at the end, but their form was incredible.
They kicked eight or 9 goals on the trot.
Yeah.
Freo.
So it was an absolute shock to me, and I wasn't happy about it, but
I was pretty happy.
I still reckon it's the Derby. It's back over in WA, so there should be a bit of a crowd there. And
I reckon this will be a good game.
This will be really exciting. I think it'll be the first time that we'll see a fair few fans in the stands. West Coast by 23 for me, but Freo have shown that they can pull one out of the bag.
I reckon this will be a nail biter. I'm going West Coast by just 2 points. Adelaide versus St Kilda.
Saints by 40. It's my dead set certainty. I picked them last week. I've had some mates that are like, don't tip Saints as your certainty. I don't want you stuffing around with my team. I'm picking them again. We've just talked to Wilkie before. They're going to get the job done. They have to respond after a loss like that. So every sign points to an absolute job getting done and 40 points.
Yep. Callum Wilkie coming on the show this week. Everyone knows it's a good omen. So they're going to get the win. So I'm going St Kilda by 35 points. My golden rogie this week is Dan Butler and Tim Membry to combine for 6 goals or more and St Kilda to win by 5 goals.
Whew, is that 5 goals or more? Or are you just
5 goals or more.
Yeah, nice.
So 30 points plus.
That is a big prediction. I like that.
Yep, and that's it. That's the predictions this week.
Awesome, mate. Now we'll move on to what caught Moose's eye.
I'll give you your sting, brother, because I know how much you love that.
Yeah, get the sting up.
Oh, this is special. This is special.
It's positive. It's a positive thing this week. And what it is it's not positive for Ollie O'Brien. We're going to touch on that again because we know he's had a mare. But what I wanted to touch on was a bit of bad blood and a bit of feeling, not bad blood, but a bit of healthy competitiveness before a game. How many eyes were on that West Coast Adelaide game that would not have been otherwise just because Riley had given him an inadvertent joust?
Yes.
And I think that that's a great thing. You look at sports like the UFC and basketball, there's always the sort of antics off field and off camera that bring fans to the sport. And it's always good to have a little bit of that, a little bit of feeling in the game. And I think that should be something that happens a little bit more. And it's a controversial opinion, but it's just not something we ever see in the game. And the last time I reckon I saw it properly was when Dylan Shield was a young GWS player and said that all the St Kilda players were old and slow and that he was going to run them off their feet. Not in those words. He didn't mean it like that. And then the St Kilda players came out. Everyone had their eyes on this young dude and how he was going to respond to it. They came out and they gave it to him the whole game. And we love to see that. A bit of feeling, see how people rise to the occasion. So
yeah, I think it's awesome. Like with the UFC, it's a 1v1. They're all about promoting bad blood. It's just a normal thing. The NBA, you know, you've got your superstar players and they're bigger than the team and the coach, really. And I think the hardest thing for Australian football is that, you know, you come out and say these things, it's detrimental to a team of 22 individuals that are going out, and the whole mantra is not being bigger than the club. And I think that's one thing that's unfortunate in a way that I loved it. I was so keen to see Riley go up and match it with Nick Nat, and he did. He came out, and for him personally, I think he put the moz on himself, and he had to go out and give it a good performance, and I really reckon he did. So I think it was really awesome. And personally, with the Nick Nat thing, for him to give a phone at the end and have a bit of a laugh, I just thought that was just like great sportsmanship. That, you know, he's had a mare, they've had a laugh about it, and for him to give him a phone after his phone broke, it was just, the whole narrative was awesome for me.
It was nice, and it was tastefully done as well. And I'm a big believer that all is fair in love and war. So when you're on the footy field, when I'm playing twos down at the mighty Bentley Demons, I am given all that. I'm a big talker on the field. I'll chat shit to my opponent all game. I'll get stuck into him. I'll target one bloke in the midfield that I'll be playing against and just get stuck into him all game. He'll get stuck into me, but after it, you just walk up, you have a laugh, you say that was good fun, and I'm all about that. So it was fantastic to see. It was tastefully done, and I hope we see more inadvertent tweets. And Razza, I'm giving you the challenge right now, brother. We want to see Raz's notes every week.
Yes. If not, we're going to make them up.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
That was what caught Moose's eye.
It was, and I'm glad you liked it, mate. You didn't say you liked it, but I'm glad you did.
I liked it, mate. I really did. Sorry.
A bit more positive feedback. Now, moving into our interview with Callum Wilkie. Tell us a bit about the great man, please.
So my experience with him, I was at St Kevin's and he was a Ross Trevor boy in Adelaide, and we actually had an inter-school match. So we housed those boys for a weekend. So would have been a good, 8 years ago. Me and my friend Sam Lewin, we housed Wilkie and his mate. And yeah, that's how we got to know him. So it's just been interesting to see a bloke who missed the draft for 4 years. And then all of a sudden on my Instagram feed, I see him posting up a photo out front of the Saints headquarters. And I look through the draft and it's just exciting. Someone who, you know, I didn't have on my own personal radar because I love to follow everyone I've known in football. But to see him now go out and absolutely kill it. Like he has not missed a beat at the highest level. It's just exciting. And I'm really thankful once again for him to coming on and giving us his time.
It is great to see. It's like Luke Ryan, who plays for the Dockers for me. I went to high school with him, and he was always short, bit of puppy fat, like, and not fat, like, but just like not physically intimidating or threatening on a football field at all. And then he shot up when he became a young man, 18, 19, started playing so well, got drafted. Now he's just killing it. And I would never have picked that. So it's awesome to see. But yeah, Callum Wilkie, great interview, and I'm hoping that you guys all love it as much as we did. Moosey Boy gone rogue on the mic here. Ponchy, we've got Callum Wilkie coming on. I've just given you a rude haircut. I know you're a bit rattled, but you need to collect yourself.
Mate, before we do this interview, take a breath, mate, because I don't think you took one then. How excited are you to talk to this bloke?
Bloody excited. Watched him on the weekend, and it was a thundering left boot. So let's get into it, big boy.
Let's do it. All right, guys. This week we have Callum Wilkie on the show. So he's a South Australian boy. He went to Ross Trevor College. He also was with South Australia in the 2014 year. He missed 4 drafts, had a bit of perseverance, and then he's made his way onto St Kilda's list with the pick 3 in the rookie draft. So, Callum Wilkie, please give us your biggest hello game day.
Hello, game day. Thanks for having me, lads.
Yeah, we love it. Thank you very much, big boy.
How are you today, mate?
No, I'm good. I'm all right. Obviously, starts of the week, disappointing loss, but we move on.
Well, we will start off with a bit of laughs just to take you off that note, mate. So we've got a couple of stitch-ups that we do every week. Now, first one was a personal one. We got to know each other because you were at Ross Trevor and you've come down to play against St Kevin's, and we got to host you boys. And one of the absolute all-time classics was the Eagle Rock. After we played each other and we went out for a couple of drinks afterwards, and you boys put the Eagle Rock on and everyone dropped their pants. So I was wondering, is this something you've brought to the St Kilda Football Club?
No, I haven't. Well, I haven't heard that song yet since I've been with the boys at the club. I don't know if it's an SA thing. So every time that song usually comes on at a party or maybe even in a bar or club, boys, naturally try and drop their pants. But obviously, if you're out at an establishment, you're pretty quick to get the boot. So it doesn't usually happen too much out. But
Yeah.
more at parties and gatherings. That's what comes on. So no, I haven't given that to the Saints boys yet. Maybe I'll try soon.
Yeah, so it's definitely a behind the closed door thing. And one of the funny ones I wanted to tell you before we go further is we actually took that one night to a nightclub, and the Eagle Rock came on, the pants came down, and I got kicked out. And I didn't realise when it happened, I was actually dancing on my phone. So I went to call my mates to get me back in, and it was shattered to pieces. So thanks to the Ross Trevor boys for that one. So
Nice, love that.
now another question that's been sent in by one of your mates, and he wants to know, how the bloody hell did you get drafted after Mitch Grigg got 30 disposals and kicked 6 goals and won the grand final, mate?
Oh, who was that?
Oh,
Who sent that in?
we will reveal Alex Spinner was our protocol.
Of course. Well, I don't even know what happened. Well, originally I was planning on tagging another midfielder called Matt Panos in that grand final, but I don't know. That was the first game I've ever played midfield, and the coach decided to give me a tagging role in the midfield in the grand final. So I was a bit rattled by that. And then, just before three-quarter time, they say go to the bloke who's had 24 and kicked 4 already. I said, yeah, great. And then he ended up having another 6 and kicking 2. Luckily, we win the game, though, so it's all good.
Oh, that's a stitch up in itself from the coach putting you on him. So another one, and this is why I was happy to reveal our source, because we don't have any context on this. But this is the question. So enlighten us as much as you want, or if it's too inappropriate, we'll cut it. But he wanted to know, did Izzy drop off the firewood Wednesday morning following the grand final? And I feel like it could be a bit too inappropriate.
That probably comes after, well, it was open about 3 days post grand final win. Sitting around, probably what was it, Tuesday night at a mate's place. Boys are carrying on a bit. Thought it'd be funny at about 2, 3 a.m. to call the missus, as they're probably all sleeping, ready to go to work the next day, because we wanted to get a little fire going in the backyard, see if they could drop off any firewood. And least to say, she was not very happy when I woke her up. But she didn't have any firewood either, so it wasn't great.
Now, we absolutely love a story about a man being in the doghouse, so thank you very much for that. Now, the next one, mate, is we're getting a few new followers last night. We've been pumping up that we're getting you on the podcast. And one of the followers that we got was actually Callum Wilkie fan page, verging on 100 followers. So I was wondering, because I'm a bit sus on it, did you make your own fan page?
No, I didn't. But originally we thought it was one of my mates, and then obviously as post went on, we realised it wasn't his sense of humour. And then a few little more breadcrumbs followed from whoever runs this page post, and we've narrowed it down to 2 of my mates who they still deny to this day. But they try and ping it on everyone else, but we know it's them, but they just won't admit it.
Well, I'm not saying that you're not a cult figure, mate. You're very popular around the club, I'm sure. Now, another one that we don't have much context.
Yeah, well, 70 followers says a lot.
Yeah, I think it's on 88 now, so you're doing all right. It's gathering quite the following. Now, another one that we have very little to no context about is a story about, apparently you've injured yourself, you've run into the post or grazed the post, as your friend has told us. You've missed the rest of the game and the next week. What is the story there?
Where was this?
So apparently you've grazed the post and had to sit out the rest of the game.
Oh, no, actually, no, I do remember this. I didn't miss next week. That's absolute carry on. So what happened was, obviously I was in the padding on the post.
Yeah.
And then there's the little gap which is usually at the back of it, like behind it. So they usually cover the front of the goal post. So they put it on backwards. So at the front of the post, it's open. And I try to run back, take a mark, and I've slammed into it with my hip, obviously straight onto the post with no padding, because whoever dumbass put the padding on decided to put it on the wrong way. And I couldn't walk for a couple of days, but I played the next week. That's absolute carry on for whoever gave me that one.
Oh my God, that is absolute classic.
And another one, mate, is do you prefer the Bali trip, footy trip, or the Cox Plate weekend?
Oh, that's a massive call.
And can we get a bit of context as to why the boys may have sent this in?
No, I don't know. Just Bali footy trip was just a typical footy trip. Boys just having a good time, but then Melbourne races, Cox Plate's always was good fun to get the big smoke from little old Adelaide. So I don't know why they've sent that in. I've had great times on both, but I reckon I prefer the footy trip. Just a few more extra days to hang with the lads and have a bit of fun.
Absolutely, mate. So those are the stitch-ups we had for you. So you've taken them very well. We appreciate that. Now, on to some more serious stuff. So you have played junior football with North Adelaide since you were 13 years old. And you've also played with Ross Trevor, and those are the higher levels that you play as a junior. For me as a Melbourne boy, I know how the Victorian Metro team selection kind of works, but how does it work to get selected for the South Australian team?
So you obviously play for your AFL clubs throughout juniors, and I'm guessing they obviously put a couple names forward to the state, to South Australia, where you go train, or obviously they've got somewhat recruiters to recruit a few boys, and then it's usually a squad, probably a big squad of about 50 originally, and then obviously from there you have a few trainings, and then they cut the squad down to say 30. And then, it goes from there. So, usually just you play for the AFL club through juniors, and then you get asked to go try out for the state team, and then it goes from there, really.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting for yourself, because that year that you were in South Australia's team, you guys won the National Carnival. So from that, you receive a state combine invite. And I was just wondering, in that under 18-year-old year, how much interest did you receive from teams, and how close were you to getting drafted in your first year?
Well, I think I probably spoke to about 2 or 3 clubs. Not a whole heap of interest from like those clubs. They sort of saying I'm close, possibly rookie. But I guess going into that draft, probably didn't expect to get drafted, just from obviously what those clubs had told me. But you obviously you're still hopeful that's going to happen. But I guess knowing that there wasn't a heap of interest, that it probably wasn't going to happen. So I guess when it didn't happen, it wasn't a massive surprise to me. Obviously, if I had more interest and I had more positive things said to me from those clubs, then obviously would have been more disappointed than I was. Obviously, I was still disappointed because usually my whole life was pretty much up to that point. Since I was a little kid, I can remember wanting to play obviously AFL, and then all of a sudden it was somewhat over. But I guess it wasn't the be all end all. I didn't look at it like it was the end of the world, so I sort of just wanted to go back to playing for North Adelaide and enjoying my footy.
Yeah, so with that, I was wondering, for the 4 years afterwards, you were playing for North Adelaide, and what was your mindset, especially after the first year of missing? And then going forward, when you were playing with North Adelaide, was the dream of playing AFL always there, or was it just you enjoying yourself playing at a higher level?
It was sort of just enjoying myself, because the first couple of years after not being drafted, like the next year, I think I pretty much just played a bit of reserves. I played league at the end of the year, but I wasn't like, I didn't get drafted and I was straight into the league team playing well. Like, I still took some time to mature. So mindset was probably just, obviously play the best footy I can at the highest level. Whatever that was, that was it. That was what it would be. So, yeah, that was probably more my mindset. I didn't really sort of have AFL in sight. I just sort of didn't want to look at it like that. I sort of trying to concentrate on, obviously, other things. I was doing uni at the time, enjoying life like any other 19-year-old, going out, having fun with mates. And then, I guess the last couple of years at North Adelaide was probably, as I became a better player, was obviously to help the team win a premiership. Still, then again, AFL wasn't really, obviously wanted to play AFL, but I wasn't getting my hopes up to make it. So it was just, playing the best footy I could, be the best footballer I could be, and obviously help the team win a premiership.
Absolutely, mate. And I think I really want to recap on your 2018 year. So I'll rattle off some stats and then I'll ask you a question afterwards. So in 2017 for North Adelaide, you guys chalk up 4 wins. You're dead last in the season. The next year, you come back, 2018, you get 11 wins. It's enough to get you the last spot, 5th place for finals. You go through the finals, elimination each game, and you're knocking off teams. You get to the prelim, and you get the 5-point win over Woodville West Torrens, which is highly controversial, and I'll obviously let you talk about that. You then get into the grand final, mate. You play in front of 40,000 people at Adelaide Oval. You then break the 27-year drought for a premiership for the North Adelaide Football Club, which is the longest in the club's history. And it's a club you've been playing for since you were 13 years old, and you win the BNF that year. So a monumental year. And I just want to ask if, you could give us a recap on that year and, the highlights and the importance of that.
Obviously, going into that year, I think we'd come the 3 years prior to that, we were last, second last.
Oh.
But we got a few players, recruited a few players, and we were quite a young team, so there was a lot of belief there. And even that 2017 year, we just kept losing a few games which were close, and even against good teams. So we sort of knew we were very capable of just taking to that next step. And I guess as the season started, just the belief and confidence grew in everyone. Always stepped up leadership wise and form. So sort of just got a bit of momentum going, and great year, one of the best years of my life. Awesome. My best mates played there. It was, so much fun going through the season, winning. And then, obviously, going into finals, just, I think we were at the top of the ladder for most of the year, and then just sort of had a bit of a dull patch later on and scraping in at 5th. And then, obviously, elimination game every final game. So, it was pretty awesome experience. And to then, obviously, that controversial prelim, 50 points down and 19th man incident, obviously something, I'll remember forever because of obviously what followed that, and then the grand final was just an absolute ridiculous year in a sense that we, finished 5th and go all the way to winning it with some controversial stuff on the way.
Mate, it's absolutely amazing for people who probably haven't heard the story. It's just, I'm pretty sure I read that you guys didn't even know if you were going to play in the grand final for the next 30 hours afterwards, the prelims. So it was an incredible read on that. Another question I want to ask is, did you focus on anything in particular to improve yourself in 2018 to improve your likelihood of getting drafted?
Sort of. I guess I had a bit of interest around, halfway through the year, and spoke to a few clubs, and that was my main question for them is sort of what can I improve on in my game, obviously, to, help my chances of getting better, to getting drafted. And most of them always said, you need to work on your endurance and speed. And I'm like, that's great. I'll work on that during the season. Like, how the hell am I going to work on that during the season, sort of thing? Like giving more stuff specific sort of about my game. But I don't know, it was hard. I've sort of spoken a little bit about this. It's like I was sort of working full time like most people who play state league footy do. And to be honest, I wasn't actually putting a heap of effort into my footy that year because, being an accountant was my job, my career going forward. That was going to be my life for the next 40 odd years. So I sort of needed to focus a bit more on that. Footy was almost a bit of a release, I guess, from work. I would, rock up late to training because I didn't want to leave early because I was just I only worked there for 12 months at that stage, so I didn't want to be that one leaving early. So I rock up late to training, sort of go through the motions a little bit because you wreck from working 8 to 10 hours a day, and then but I guess by the time that game day came around, I was actually pumped and really looking forward to playing because it was that bit of a release from working. So I don't know. It was sort of having a good footy work balance. I guess that's probably helped me play my best footy because I wasn't actually focusing on footy 24/7.
Yeah. So moving forward, so then you've been picked up. You've had to get rid of the accountant's job. You've picked up number 3 in the national rookie draft. 4 games into your career, you get a contract extension to the end of 2021. You've led the team for intercept marks and intercept possessions at AFL level, played every game in your debut season and every game of 2020 as well. You finished top 10 in the Trevor Barker Award last year. What would you attribute this immediate success to?
Good question. To be honest, originally, I got a game, I guess purely on luck and I guess unfortunate injuries that there were to Dylan Robin and Jake Carl, which left a hole in the defence. So obviously that was my opportunity to come in, and I guess just having those first few games and having some games under my belt to sort of adjust to the AFL standard. I grew in confidence from there, and it's probably just honestly having the confidence of the coaching group. Obviously coming into the system, you don't know where you stand, especially being just being drafted, so you don't obviously know where you stand. You don't have that connection with the guys and coaching staff yet. So I guess once they put me in and was able to play a couple games, I sort of just grew in confidence and started to feel comfortable at the level, and then sort of just went from there really.
Well, there's no luck involved now, mate, because you've absolutely established yourself in that team. I wanted to also touch on your time as an accountant. So you've spent 4 years at the desk working as an accountant. What's it like to hang up the suit and don the boots?
It's pretty nice, to be honest. It's nice, obviously. I mean, I enjoyed my time in accounting. I find finance and all that very interesting. That's why I did that as a degree. That's why I went to uni for that. So, but no, obviously playing footy, the sport I've always grown up playing and wanted to play. Waking up every day and going to do that. It's awesome. Best job in the world. So yeah, I'm loving it.
And I've heard that you actually were at your old job when you got drafted. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, the national draft was, I think, at midday, and then the rookie draft was about 5:30, and then I think they actually ended up starting it half an hour early, and I was ready to pack my desk and go home and watch the rookie draft, and probably thinking I'll be back Monday, see you guys Monday, and then I think they started it early. And I wasn't obviously paying attention because I didn't know they started early, and then obviously got the call from one of the recruiters, Chris, to obviously give me the good news. So it was awesome. Obviously had to pack up the desk, come and pack up the desk the next day, and then fly out the day after. So it was pretty whirlwind experience, but obviously loving it.
Well, mate, it's an amazing story, and I'm sure that you've still got the opportunity to crunch some numbers after footy, if that's what you're so pleased to do. Now, I wanted to get into 2020 now. Alan Richardson has departed the club. I wanted to sort of understand the process of when the coach leaves the club, does he address the players? Does he address the whole club? How does that work?
So that obviously morning, I think we were just doing weights, honestly, and you could sort of tell there's a bit of I think, honestly, I'm pretty sure it broke on Instagram, honestly, before we'd been told as players, maybe 5 minutes before. And then obviously we had a team meeting, and Richo obviously explained what was happening. And probably for about 20-30 minutes just talked about, his time here, all that sort of stuff. And obviously never experienced something like that. Well, first year in AFL club, I remember it happening at North Adelaide. But yeah, no, it was pretty. Yeah, it's pretty emotional time, pretty weird time to transition time to go through, and then obviously you have an assistant coach, which was Richard Ratz, to step up and fill that role for the rest of the year. So no, it was a bit bizarre, but that's the footy world we live in. It happens all the time.
I can imagine you would have developed quite a relationship with the coach, and it might be quite a difficult thing. And then you've obviously got Brett Ratton coming in, and I'm curious about the changes that he's sort of brought in and implemented, and how that's affected the playing group.
Yeah, Brad's has brought in a few changes. Obviously, a bit of structural staff. We got some recruits, some different type of players, a bit more speed on the ball with Brad Hill, Dan Butler, and Zach Jones. So you've got to adjust your game style to the players you have. So yeah, he's sort of given us a bit more freedom to play on instinct in a way. So that's sort of obviously come out when we've been obviously playing our good footy. So yeah, he's been awesome. Sort of really just sort of big on being yourself and connecting as a group, which will help us on field.
And those recruits have been massive, especially Butler, Hill, and Jones, and they've kind of been leading the way. Have they had a really big effect off the field as well?
Yeah, they've been huge. Obviously, you want to pick their brain. They've come from some good clubs. Brad Hills obviously came from the Hawthorn 3P, Butler, Richmond Premiership side. Zach Jones from Sydney, Sydney's always been renowned for their culture and the way they go about it. So we've all been as a group trying to pick their brains on little things that we can get better as a group, and yeah, they've been massive on and off the field.
Yeah, it's really showing. Another thing that we do every week is we have a question from Everything AFL HQ, which is one of our favourite AFL pages. They post some amazing content, and every week one of their fans asks whoever we have on the podcast a question. So this week the question is by Byron Bradshaw, and it is, who is the funniest teammate that you have, and what's an example of something that they've done that's funny?
Few funny teammates. There's some jokers like Dan Hanbury, Nick Hine, but I don't know. Really, on this trip, the funny one for me has been Dougal Howard. He just has some absolute rage when playing FIFA or Call of Duty, or even when he's losing at tennis. I'm doing this podcast in his apartment because he's in mine playing the boys in FIFA, and. Yeah, I was just before we started. I could hear him just screaming all types of swear words at the TV. So if you might get lucky, hopefully they're still playing. You might be able to hear him.
And I feel like this kind of leads into the next question well. And with a name like Dougal, he was stitched up at birth there. He was always going to be aggressive when playing FIFA. Who are the players that you would least like to be stuck in a hub with?
Probably Hanbury. I could deal with him for a fair amount of time, but the bloke's just switched on all the time. He just always talking like non-stop. So if I actually wanted some downtime, I don't think I'll be able to have any. So I'd have a good laugh with him for a while, but I reckon there'd be a time where it would just switch and he'd just be an absolute pest.
We've all got that one, mate. Poncho's absolutely that mate for me.
I'll wear that one on the gym.
Good in small doses. Now, last question I wanted to ask you is, you guys have had a great season so far. It's been super positive down at St Kilda. Not the result you were looking for on the weekend, but considering the trajectory that you're on, what's the sort of time frame that you guys are looking at in terms of giving it a real shake-up in September?
Obviously everyone wants to play September every year. And obviously this year's been a bit of a shake-up with different challenges and everything. But obviously, yeah, we're growing as a group week by week. Obviously didn't have the result on the weekend. But yeah, no, I think literally just if we can start getting our best footy and play consistently, or just even when we're not playing our best footy, have a consistent base where we're not, leaking goals like we sort of did on the weekend and getting that slump. It will take us in a really good stead to go forward and hopefully, play finals footy. But yeah, I mean, at the moment we've got especially from the weekend, got a few things we need to, fix up and learn from. But yeah, obviously we're still learning as a group, and learning how to win. So hopefully, soon we want to be playing finals footy. Everyone wants to be playing finals footy. So yeah, hopefully we can do it soon.
Awesome, mate. Well, I can't thank you enough for coming on, brother. It's been a while since I've chatted to you.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Mate.
I reckon the last time I saw you was actually up here in Noosa.
That's
Remember
right.
when I saw you at the RSL? At Surf Life Saving Club?
I definitely would have been on a fair few floppies at that point. But yeah, mate. Well, hopefully when everything comes down with COVID and you're living in Melbourne now, we can go and catch up for a beer probably post-season when it's appropriate. But,
Yeah, definitely.
mate,
Yeah.
thank you so much once again for coming on.
Yeah, really appreciate it, brother. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me, lads.
Callum Wilkie, guys. Thank you. So that was our interview with St Kilda's Callum Wilkie. We'd like to give a massive thank you to Callum for coming and giving us a chop out on the podcast, and hopefully the Saints get a win this week for Poncho's sake, or else he might be getting another punishment done. Don't forget, guys, wherever you're listening, please hit the subscribe button down below. Give it a like, leave it a review. Any sort of feedback you can give us, even if you think we're dog shit, is helpful. Because we want to improve.
Yeah, I just want to thank Cal again. It was a really good episode and I really enjoyed this interview with another great bloke in the AFL.
And please tune into our Instagram at Hello Game Day to see me give Ponch the rudest haircut you will ever see on a man.
It is so disgusting.
Yeah.
It is such a good get by Moose. I was filthy, I still am a little bit, but I'll literally have to wear it.
It's for a good cause. Thank you so much for listening, guys. And I've been the Moose.
I've been the Punch. Next time you tune in, bring a mate.
Thank you for tuning in to the Hello Game Day podcast.
If you're listening right now, that means you've made it to the end of the episode. And maybe even enjoyed what you've heard.
If so, you can join us on all major social media platforms, as well as audio podcasting platforms and YouTube. Or just head on over to our website at www.hellogameday.co and hit subscribe to join our mailing list where you can receive weekly updates on the podcast. We'd like to give a massive thank you to our producer Ethan Curtin. Find him on Instagram at Room 10 Company, as well as Equal Tech, who have given us an office space to work in, and our beautiful graphic design is done by Chev at Graphic Design. He's been the Punch.
He's been the Moose. And next time you drop in, bring a mate.